I'm gonna do it.
I wouldn't do that.
I'm really gonna do it.
I definitely wouldn't do that.
Look at me doing it.
What? No. Why are you doing that?
I'm still gonna do it.
You need to stop.
Gonna do it.
Don't do that.
Here I go.
What were you hoping to accomplish with this?
I don't know. I just wanted to be a witch.
The neighbors already think we're the weird foreigners as it is.
We are the MahouShowGirls. My name is Kayla. And my name is Britney. Kayla likes history. And Britney likes sparkle tattoo. Are you ready for some magic? 'Cause this is the end of our song. Deal with it.
Ahem. What? Aren't you going to start?
Oh, right. Sorry. Welcome everyone. We're the MahouShowGirls.
I'm Kayla.
And I'm a witch.
No, you're not. And what's all this about witches anyways?
Well, you remember how last time I ominously hinted that I was taking matters into my own hands?
No, not really. I was too busy maniacally laughing. Couldn't hear you over it.
Well, that's your problem then. I decided that this time I wanted to look at some real magic and princesses. So, Sally the Witch.
But wait, according to my list, Sally the Witch doesn't...
Forget about your stupid history. I decided this time I wanted princesses and sparkles. So, princesses and sparkles. Sally the Witch. Deal with it.
All right then, please proceed.
Gladly.
Sally the Witch, also known as Sunny the Witch, is one of the most popular anime in the magical girl genre. Not only is it considered to be the first magical girl anime, it's also credited with being the first shoujo anime as well. Shoujo manga and anime is anything having to deal with a girl younger than 20. Because of this, it was the first Japanese anime targeted at young girls.
The manga was produced between 1966 and 1967, with the anime following at the end of 1966 and running until 1968. While Sally the Witch comes after Princess Knight in our timeline, and it's important to note that it did air before Princess Knight. Princess Knight and Himitsu no Ako-chan came afterwards, but all three shows aired at the same time. The first few episodes of Sally the Witch were filmed in black and white, up to about episode 17. Afterwards, they switched to color. This made it one of the earliest color animes. It was given something like a second season called Sally the Witch 2, which ran from 1989 to 1991.
Okay, so pop quiz.
Wait, what? I didn't study.
It'll be easy. I mean, maybe. Last time, Princess Knight was inspired by what?
It was Western stories, right? Like Little Red Riding Hood and Snow White and stuff.
Correct. So, take a guess at what inspired Sally the Witch.
That's easy. It's clearly inspired by Bewitched.
Bewitched was an American TV sitcom that ran from 1964 to 1972. The general premise of the show is about a witch who decides to marry a mortal man and live the life of a typical suburban housewife. The episodes generally involve some sort of hijinks. The typical plot is how the witch Samantha's family disapproves of the mixed marriage since they're magical and cause issues with her husband Darren. The spells often affect him, his boss, clients, parents, etc. However, by the end of the episode, Samantha and Darren are usually seen embracing, having overcome whatever obstacle was thrown at them. Bewitched also had a few noteworthy things going for it. Besides the huge amount of popularity, the show talked about the role of women in society. Samantha and her mother Endora are seen as feminists. Both women use magic as a means of empowerment, and Endora even scoffs at the trivial life of so-called expected housewives. They're both aggressive and take an active charge in the plots and situations. The show also subtly hinted at the racist setting of the time. There are a few episodes in which Darren looks down on witches as being ugly and the butt of a joke, at his own wife's expense. This is a running theme in a few episodes, and Endora even goes as far as to turn Darren into a stereotypical ugly witch to see how it feels. Overall, the show took its platform very seriously, and acted as a message for its audience while maintaining its humor. In our opinion, Bewitched was more of a thematically interesting and deep show in comparison to the less message-heavy Sally the Witch.
Oh, wow, you really did your homework.
Yep. I don't joke around when it comes to princesses and sparkles.
The story of Sally the Witch has a lot of common themes with Bewitched. Sally is the witch princess of the Magic Kingdom. She wants to visit the mortal realm and one day accidentally teleports to the midworld, Earth. There, she defends two schoolgirls and immediately befriends them, a tomboy known as Yot-chan and a girly girl known as Sumire. She decides to stay for however long she wants, getting herself into mischief. She tries to keep her powers a secret.
The second season continues a few years after the ending of the first one. It follows with a short video where Sally becomes the queen of the Magic Kingdom.
This sounds like it's pretty long.
Yep, the first season alone had 108 episodes. It was really popular. I mean, it was one of the first ongoing anime. And while it didn't come over to America, it was pretty popular in a lot of other countries.
Oh, wow, this actually sounds a lot more interesting than I thought it would be.
Yeah, it is. It's the best. And you know what else?
What more cool historical facts?
Even better. We get to use the board! Yay!
But wait, isn't the board over... I don't even know what's real anymore.
The board is magical and knows all. And, unlike Princess Knight, Sally the Witch starts to check some more things off of the board.
Well, obviously, she is a young girl. She's in elementary school, which for the Magical Girls was pretty normal about this time.
And obviously, there's magic. She uses her magical powers, but she has to keep them a secret. So it piggybacks on Princess Knight, the idea of hiding her secret identity. Well, until the end of season 1.
She also has some sidekicks. She has her two human friends, Yot-chan and Sumire. While they're not magical beings, they do kind of create a small group.
Oh, let's not forget about how she does have a magical sidekick, Kabu. He poses as her younger brother, so not only does she get two human sidekicks, she also gets a magical one. And then in the second season, she gets two more sidekicks in the form of a small magical girl named Poron, and a cat whose name is not really mentioned.
Wait, this doesn't sound like a lot at all. Sounds like the same exact amount as Princess Knight.
But it's better because it's got magic, and magic makes everything better.
I'd argue that history makes everything better. Like how Sally the Witch is the first anime to use the magical girl trope of an alien princess coming to Earth. This influenced the genre really heavily, especially something as big as Sailor Moon. And it not only affected Japanese media, but the rest of the world as well.
Oh, wait. You're talking about that one show, Star versus the Forces of Evil. Oh, and there was Lolly Rock, too. They both talk about alien princesses coming to Earth.
Yep, and it was made by everyone's favorite animation studio, Toei Animation.
That name does sound familiar.
If it isn't now, it's going to be. Toei Animation is a household name for anime, and the basic storyline that they did for Sally the Witch, they use a lot in their magical girl animes.
Basic? Basic? Have you even seen the show?
I mean, no. Have you?
Not really.
Mahariku, maharita, yakara, yang, yang, yang. Mahariku, maharita, yakara, yang, yang, yang.
Alright, so we're gonna preference this by saying that it was really hard to find material on Sally the Witch in general.
It really was. And I don't know if this is necessarily something to do with the fact that it was only popular within mostly Japan and or a few other countries and not America, and as we are using more American search engines, we just couldn't find that kind of stuff. But
I would even argue, I searched in Japanese search engines too, and outside of like buying the DVDs for a ridiculously high price,
Yeah.
then there was like nothing to find on it, despite how popular it was.
And I mean, not to mention, there's not a surprise because it wasn't brought over to America. That was never dubbed. I don't even think there's any subbed versions anywhere about it.
Probably not in any English languages, but like we said, it was really popular in other countries. That continued into like Italy, Spain, I think France.
Yeah, I thought you said France too.
So there's probably dubs in those languages, which doesn't help us because my French and German is poor at best, and you don't speak a third language.
Nope.
So we managed to find one episode in Japanese.
That's true.
And
I found an episode of the later Sally the Witch 2 sequel, which is, I think, the more well-known one as well. But it's more well-known in the sense of, like, the actual magical girl idea. But, yeah, it's really rare. Yeah, good luck. If you want to watch it, I'd say the only way you're going to be able to do it is if you buy, like, a VHS or a DVD copy, because otherwise, and even then, they're very rare. Like, it was really hard to find anything that wasn't either just a couple episodes on a DVD or like a huge box set that was like super duper freaking expensive. So you have to be a really dedicated Sally the Witch fan to like want to watch this.
But that said, the popularity still lasts. Like, as we discovered, you said they made the Sally the Witch 2, plus they got a little short spin-off movie after Sally the Witch 2.
It was more like a TV movie. It was a little 30-minute thing, kind of think like the little Sailor Moon movies that they have separately, although I think those were actually theatrical releases. It's like a TV movie, so not anything like crazy, like, oh, this went to theaters. It was just something small.
Right, and so that was done in the late 80s, very early 90s, and then we found this music video by a group called Anger Me, which I don't know when they did the video, but I assume it was in 2014, so that's only about 2 years ago, and
Pretty recently, basically.
And in case you're curious, quick rundown on Anger Me's discography. They originally started as a band in 2010 named Smilage.
I think that's such a dumb name, I'm sorry.
And they're kind of, to me, a generic Japanese pop band. They deal with pop and dance music, but they have kind of a rock edge to them. I think maybe Demi Lovato if she was a Japanese group band. Like, that's kind of the sound they have for me. That said, the Sally the Witch theme song was really different from their usual music. So,
Oh yeah, you said it was like, it's a lot cutesier than what they were doing.
yeah, they tend to go a lot more hard edge, like sexy kind of. And Sally the Witch is very cute.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying that more of
It's definitely a promotion of some sorts. That's the whole reason they did it. Which it's basically all it is just like a revamp of the original Sally the Witch theme song. Which I think, in the grand scheme of things, the theme song itself has more popularity than the show. Because that's one thing is people I've talked to, they're like, oh yeah, I know the song. And I'm like, yeah, but do you know about the show? And they're like, not really. So... And I think, again, a lot more people would know more about the more current one, because most of the people we talked to, like, didn't watch a lot of anime at that time, so...
I mean, it also doesn't help that fun trivia fact that, and I think we mentioned in the last video, that Sally the Witch is the first magical girl anime.
Yeah, that's the first magical anime, because Princess Knight was the first magical girl manga.
But Princess Knight, Sally the Witch, and another one called Himitsu no Ako-chan were debuted around the same time.
That's right.
So, and then obviously Princess Knight got popular enough and they went over to America.
Yeah. Got
So
that wonderful English dub.
I guess it's just interesting to see those kind of compete against each other because they're all very vastly different. I might argue that Himitsu no Ako-chan and Sally the Witch are kind of similar. But
but Himitsu no Ako-chan got a lot more revamps. I don't hear many people talking about it as much, but I think it was a lot more popular at the times. So, but it also, again, I think that has a lot to do with the fact that Himitsu no Ako-chan was definitely playing more of that magical girl trope.
Yeah. So I think it's very interesting to watch those shows kind of compete with each other and see kind of what lasted the longest, which to me, obviously, Princess Knight won.
Yeah.
Princess Knight is remembered more and like it's more popular around.
But also that might be because it was from a very famous man.
Oh yeah. You don't know anything Osamu Tezuka does.
No. But anyways, so yeah, it's really rare. So if you want to watch it, I'd say good luck. I mean, give it a shot. Like if it's something that you're really interested in digging deep for those kinds of things, like like all power to you.
Yeah,
It's just-
rare gems of history.
It's just not something we have the time to do. We did the best we could with, the resources we had. And, we found a few things. We got a good idea about it, which, speaking of, what's your idea?
Well, I saw.
Yeah?
So we only watched, like I said, I only watched one episode and it was in Japanese. So
I watched 2 episodes. One of the very first episode that we both watched, and also an episode from the season 2/sequel.
So what I kind of got from the first episode, from partially what I could understand and just in general watching it, it does have a heavy hand in Western influence.
Yeah, it's really obvious that there was a lot of Western influence to it.
And I don't know what it reminds you of, but it reminded me of kind of like the old school Scooby-Doo, like that weird. Yes. There's a lot of gimmicks that are kind of the same.
Slapstick. It's really popular with that kind of slapstick, which is another thing I noticed. Is it's got a very Western slapstick type feel, like those like Scooby-Doo chase scenes.
Yeah, because there's one scene in the first episode there. She's fighting against some burglars to save her friends, and they're trying to run up some stairs, but she uses her magic to like constantly turn the stairs into kind of a slide.
Yeah,
so that's very.
Yeah, they're both doing it.
Yeah, that's very Scooby-Doo-esque. Like, and then like they put boxes inside boxes, like.
But I mean, that is to say, when was Scooby-Doo made?
In the 70s?
Okay.
Well, I mean that what I'm
because
about the 70s.
Because this episode came out in the 60s, so maybe Scooby-Doo was kind of inspired by it. I don't know.
I'm gonna go on a limb and say no. No.
But yeah, no. And then my like thoughts in general from seeing both the first and the second season is that, just as a point of reference, again, the first season / Sally the Witch was made in the 60s, and the newer one, the second one, was made in the 90s. The first one didn't really try to do magical girl thing. It's, again, more of that Japanese / Western slapstick, and then just kind of the slice of life, like the character goes through their daily life trying to solve the daily problems. But the sequel in the 90s definitely has more of a magical girl feel to it. I definitely felt like she was, she had a wand, she was actually doing some battling with a villain type person. There was more of a magical feel to it because they went to a land and there was fairies and stuff, and there was a magical spell book. But again, I haven't seen the rest of the actual season 2, so it could be a lot of that slice of life. I don't actually know, and I feel bad. I'd like to watch 1 or 2 more episodes, but I can't find anything.
So I guess going off of, we said that it was inspired heavily by Bewitched, which seeing some of the tropes in the first episode, I can see I don't know that much about Bewitched. Honestly, it never interested me. And spoiler alert, Sally the Witch doesn't interest me either.
The only thing of Bewitched I know is the terrible remake movie with Will Ferrell.
They neither of them were in my spectrum of things that I care about watching. But from what I know about Bewitched with her nose wrinkle, they gave kind of Sally the Witch the same thing. She kind of winks her eye and there's a little twinkle.
Magic happens, yeah. And again, it's that same thing with Bewitched because in Bewitched, I guess the character's name, I can't even remember her name right now. She
the witch, Samantha?
Yeah, Samantha, thank you.
Samantha and Sally.
Samantha and Sally, yeah. Big difference, right?
Yeah, I know. I can't see what
God. But yeah, she uses her magic to solve her day-to-day problems with her husband and stuff, but she's kind of hiding her identity, and it's exactly the same thing here, except for instead of a husband, she's hiding her identity from her friends, and she's trying to solve their day-to-day problems.
Yeah.
Which is really, it was a weird thing. I was why did they introduce a wand in the second season where she just can do magic with her wave of her hand in the first one? I mean, it's just one of those weird things. Because
product placement. Because we were researching this, I saw a lot of commercials for I assume the 90s, the second season.
Yeah, it is. It's
where they have a lot of
wand, and she actually has a little communicator. Yeah, because I actually saw the communicator and where
product placement.
She calls her parents. But yeah, so yeah, that's kind of what we thought about it. But let's kind of go back and look at the actual tropes that we have and how they reflect in both of the series, I think. And I can get a better idea of it from the second season. So what are your thoughts? The first one that we talked about was the identity, hiding the identity, kind of like with Princess Nani.
I would argue that Sally doesn't actually. And this is based off of one episode. She doesn't really hide her identity, especially in the beginning. she overtly uses her magic, and even later on the episode where she's trying to keep it more of a secret, she's still blatantly using her magic. And it's more of that Bewitched style, like tongue-in-cheek, where like, oh yeah, obviously these things happen. Like there's one scene where she invites the people over to her house, and she just created this house, and it's empty of furniture because she doesn't understand what a human house is. And so
I don't know what the limit of her magic is, so I don't.
So like one of her friends is peeking in, and she sees that the magic's happening, and of course like it seemed to be a running joke that the tomboy yot-chan like sees the magic and is like, oh, what is this? And Sumire like sees the aftermath, and she's like, oh, you must have just been imagining the magic. So
what was it she said? She was like chotto-hen. She's like, her brain is a little bit weird.
Yeah, so to me, Sally doesn't really try to hide her magic or her identity, in the sense of she's using her magic, she just didn't tell them she's a princess from another kingdom.
I think it could be kind of in the same vein of the Princess Knight previous, where it was hiding a gender identity rather than like, you know, your actual personal identity. She's trying to hide her magic identity, not necessarily who she is.
I still wouldn't say that. What about you? Do you think she hides her identity effectively?
Well, that's the thing, is I can't really say a lot because I haven't seen enough episodes. Like maybe it's just one of those running gags where it's like she's always just managed to hide her identity in like the nick of time each episode. Like she does all these magic and maybe they'll know. Because doesn't like, I think the last episode, like people find out in the first season, but then she comes back in the second season and nobody knows again for some reason. So, I mean, you know, with magic it's one of those Deus Ex Machina kind of things where it's like it just does whatever it wants. But yeah, and
I mean, the second point, obviously she's a young girl.
Yeah,
like,
she's
we see a preview.
Girl.
We see a preview of her like going and helping her friends in their elementary school. I mean, I assume it's an elementary school. It doesn't actually
it's
say.
elementary.
But
and then like on that note too, she's also kind of sort of battling evil. It's like more the evil of like the inconvenience of day-to-day life. Whereas again, I think in the second like series, like she does fight more actual evil, because I think there's like some guy that comes back to the kingdom who was banished with his daughter, and so it's like her evil opposite that she's gotta fight.
Okay.
And then, you know, there was another, like in the movie I watched, there was like an evil sorceress too, you know. So she is kind of battling evil with her magic powers. It's just in a different way than what we're used to with most magical girls.
I'd even argue that she's battling evil with her powers. I mean, the first episode has her thwarting a robbery.
That's true, yeah.
So I mean, yeah, she uses it like in the daily inconveniences of life, but I think she does like battle the evils of like mankind.
The evils of inconvenience. Oh my god, I don't have any chairs in my house. How evil.
I know. Where will my friend sit?
Okay, and then she doesn't have a magical transformation, so we don't need to worry about that. She does have like a lot of companions and sidekicks though. Like only a few of them are actually magical. There's her little like adopted brother and sister. It's Podon and Kabu or something like that, which Kabu was introduced in the first season, but I don't know if Podon comes in until like the second season. She's really cute. She's just a little magical girl. And then Goblin or whatever his name is I think he's like that mischievous little brother, but he's kind of put in there. I think he's put in there for the boys because yot-chan has like 3 little brothers and they're always like fighting each other, so it's kind of that thing to make the boys interested, so it's not all girly all the time.
Yeah, and then she's got her 2 friends, Sumire and yot-chan, who help her out, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, they're humans, so they don't do anything. And yeah, other than that, there's really not too much else to it. Like, she's a magical girl. Yeah, that's basically about the gist of it. She's magical, she's a girl.
Yeah. I did read an interesting theory about this, and I didn't look too much into it, so maybe it's not a legit thing, it's something that people are reading into it, but I like it nonetheless. They discussed the possibility of Sally the Witch being a metaphor for the bringing of Eastern Asian ideas into a Western culture, whereas Sally the Witch is the Eastern idea. She's the foreigner, someone from not of this planet, in a sense. And the human world is the Western world, where she tries to break into it. So I really like the idea of like two sides kind of merging, which again you can see in the show. There's a lot of heavy Western influence, but it still kind of stays true to a Japanese influence from what I can tell.
Which, to be honest, I think that's more in reference to the first Sally the Witch, because I didn't see that at all in the second one.
Sorry, not about, I don't know anything about the second season.
The second season is definitely cashing in on the magical girl, because it was in the 90s after the magical girl ideology or theorem or whatever had been established.
Yeah.
So yeah, if we're talking about it, yes, I would agree that would have a place with the first Sally the Witch.
The 60s version.
The 60s version, yes. But yeah, I mean...
So, I mean, looking at it like that, I see the show as a lot more interesting, because on the surface it's not that interesting to me.
I mean, I would recommend it to somebody if you're interested in kind of seeing the start of that idea of the magical girl. But I would say if you're looking for something that's more of a magical girl in the sense of like what we know today, check out the second season. I don't think you're going to miss much of having not seen the 60s version. I don't necessarily recommend the 60s version to anybody because one, it's obscenely hard to find.
It's kind of boring.
It's just that kind of like slapsticky stuff that, you know, was really popular at the time, and it hasn't aged very well. Like, the 90s is fine. It's pretty new, and I could probably, you know, sit down and watch a couple episodes of it and just be like, yeah, this reminds me a lot of Sailor Moon. But other than that, like, you know, good luck if you want to look for it.
Alright, so I think we're going to end the discussion portion because there's not a lot to discuss because we can't discuss a lot. So let's
take a look for yourselves. Yeah.
But I want to end it with a question. So, we didn't discuss Himitsu no Ako-chan, but we kind of have a general idea about it. So what would you say would be your favorite magical girl between the three that were aired?
The triad?
The triad. So you got Princess Knight, which we did discuss, Sally the Witch, and then Himitsu no Ako-chan, which, although not discussed, isn't for lack of Britney trying. I didn't want to discuss it.
I'm sure
it's very boring.
We'll do an episode about it later. We'll do some more research on it. But at the moment, if you've seen Himitsu no Ako-chan and you have any idea between the three, which one do you like best? It's a good question. Down in the comments, let us know. Let us know.
How about you?
I haven't seen enough Himitsu no Ako-chan yet, but if we're going with anything, I'm going to be very specific and say that I like the Sally the Witch 90s version.
Oh, I'd have to argue that I like Princess Knight out of the triad that we've got.
I'm bitter towards it now. So yeah, let us know. What do you think?
Lay down your history facts on us.
Tell us.
Okay, I relent. So maybe it didn't tick off a lot on the board, but it was interesting. A little.
That's right. Now, say you're sorry.
No. How about I promise that next time we'll talk about something with a magical transformation?
Oh, really? That sounds amazing. I like Sally the Witch, but I love me a good magical transformation.
Oh, you'll get it.
Wait, why is your face like that?
No reason. No reason at all.
I don't know if I like where this is going.